During last night's debate, Donald Trump said that Joe Biden hates Kamala. And then a day later, Joe Biden did this. He put on a Trump hat. It's a real photo. CBS also says Biden wears Trump 2024 hat at Pennsylvania fire station to promote unity. He didn't. He literally just was handed a hat and put it on. This is why I hate the machine state. Okay.
Yeah, that's a disgusting headline, and it's a complete lie.
Yeah.
He just was doing what he was, and he's also he's like, oh, I'm folksy. Oh, they give me a hat, I'll just put it on.
Right. And so this is what the media does. Joe Biden will be up on stage and he'll be looking around and he'll go, the economy. We gotta, watch that, my economy. And then you're just going, what? But then the media writes, in an impassioned speech, Joe Biden said the economy was a central focus of his administration. It's like, no, he didn't. He said, blah, 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 blah. But then instead of quoting him,
he has a stutter.
They paraphrase and give you the idea of what they think he was saying. Joe Biden put on a Trump hat. That's the news. There's nothing else. I can tell you nothing else. Joe Biden went to an event. He was at a fire station. Someone handed him a Trump hat. He put it on. Make up for your mind why he did it or what it means. For the media to now run this, and all these leftists are saying it's because he believes in national unity and he's a good guy. No, he was handed a hat. He put it on. Maybe he didn't even know it said Trump on it.
He always calls Trump supporters MAGA extremists. He obviously does not care about unity. It's so much funnier to me that he didn't really, if you watch the video, he looks a little bit lost. He puts it on. And somewhere in the periphery of this video, one of his handlers is like, no, don't do this. Like,
I'm going to say this because we're allowed to do it. Biden wears Trump 2024 hat in endorsement of Trump's reelection campaign.
Wow, he endorsed Trump. That's great.
I mean,
look at that.
If they can say to promote unity, then I can say to endorse Trump.
Why not? Anything is game. Anything
Sure.
is game. I don't think he you look, he's confused. I don't think he knew what he was doing. But as a politician, never wear a hat.
After he did it, what happened was
don't eat, never wear a hat.
White House press secretary said he's promoting bipartisan unity.
Oh.
The media then says, okay, thank you for our talking point. We'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, but why hasn't he been doing this for the past 3 years, right? Like, he doesn't care about bipartisan unity at all. I actually do feel like there is a little bit of resentment, not even a little bit. I think there's a ton of resentment towards Kamala Harris. In this moment, he just looks so bewildered and confused that there is a chance he didn't know what he was putting on. But
I think he didn't know where he was.
Yeah, of course, he never does. But I think he actually does not like Kamala Harris. I mean, she let Donald Trump trash him on stage, which twofold works for Donald Trump because she cannot separate herself from the Biden administration. You notice that she doesn't say Biden's name. She avoided it as much as possible, but she would say, well, we accomplished this when it was the Biden-Harris administration. In this case, I can only imagine that Joe Biden, in a lucid moment, is wondering when he sees these clips why this lady that she gave a huge platform to, this nice lady who's been following him around for the past couple of years, isn't saying anything in his defense.
Yeah, I think it's hysterical that she was trying to promote her foreign policy bona fides by saying a couple days before the Ukraine invasion she was over there. And you want to think, you're definitely smart, you're talented, you've made it thus far. You've been vice president for a hot minute. You were a senator for about 2 years. You're in this room with NATO leaders. You don't know what the hell is going on. You have no idea why you're there. You don't know anything about the military. You know probably nothing about foreign policy. And to give this idea that, like, on my 4th day in office, I went over to Kyiv and convened these world leaders. I would have loved to have been in that room as she was sitting down with these world leaders, being like, what the hell is, I didn't know France was going to be here. Yeah, Madam Vice President, France is going to be here.
They gave her a seat at the table and they're like, okay, just listen. It's
sit.
cool.
Yeah.
And like Trump pointed out, great job. Russia's still invaded.
So you said that Kamala Harris didn't mention Biden last night, and that is substantially true. She mentioned him to say that she is not Joe Biden, to say that, Trump is not running against Joe Biden. And she mentioned him when talking about the Afghanistan withdrawal, which killed 13 servicemen and women. Those are the only times. Those were the only times that she mentioned him. I've been scanning through. I pulled up the transcript of the debate just to see, some different things. And yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
She laid Joe Biden to rest at the DNC. He went first. He talked about that she would continue on the work that he has done with his administration. And then several days later, she came on stage, said goodbye to Joe, and basically only talked about herself from then on. She does not want to be associated with Joe Biden. And at the same time as sort of recycling policies. I mean, didn't Raheem Kassam on Monday point out that like her
So we have,
policies on the website?
Just a quick correction. Biden did ask for the hat. He knew exactly what it was.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's even funnier. He
even
does
funnier.
hate her.
That's even funnier.
That's way better. Raheem Kassam pointed out
great.
on Monday that if you go to the code section of her policy page,
That's
it's
right.
actually lifted off of Biden's. I mean, she is 100% just another reiteration of the Biden machine, no matter how hard she fights it.
You have to remember too, there's no Biden machine. Kamala Harris would be the continuation of the Obama era. And that's sort of part of the goal.
It's always a rebound. It was Obama,
Yeah.
and now it's Biden, and then we want it to be Harris. I didn't think that one's going to work as well as I think.
Well, this is what she had to accomplish last night, and as well as she did, and she was prepared, and the media is saying she won. One of the things that she had to do was she had to explain one of two things. You're either a brilliant vice president, and this administration is great, but everyone knows that's false, right? Because the economy is in terrible shape. The world has broken out into warfare. So it's either that, or you are this brilliant mind independent of the administration, and I just sat there for 3.5 years as a coward. I hid the fact that Biden is mentally incapacitated, and I had no ability to put any of my agenda or all these great policy ideas into play. So you have to elect me, and then I will do great things, but I haven't been able to do it thus far. It's one of those two, and I don't think the audience believes that it's the latter, that you're this gifted mind with these wonderful policies, and you just haven't been able to get them through the Biden administration. People don't believe she's an independent actor separate from Joe Biden.
Well, because she's not an independent actor separate from Joe Biden. She is intrinsically linked to him. She is
Tethered.
Yeah, she is the DEI vice president. And, if she wins, she would be the DEI president. And there's no getting around that.
Yeah.
And if I were her, I would find that to be kind of humiliating. And I would go really crazy to make sure that I was differentiating myself, but with actual policy positions. And she hasn't done that. Instead, when she did that, one interview, and now she's done one debate, what she said in that interview was that her values hadn't changed. But she's continually backtracking on things that she previously said were core values. So if her values hadn't changed, then she is lying to the American people now. She is lying to voters now. And even Bernie Sanders, when asked about it, said she's saying what she has to say to get elected. And I don't know if you guys remember this back in 2008, but you had Obama, who was then he was a senator, right?
2 years.
Yeah, and he was going around saying something different to everyone. He was saying, yes, gay marriage to some people, no gay marriage to other people. He was going around, he always had a different answer. He was talking out of both sides of his mouth. And I remember talking to, my big lefty friends about it at the time and being like, but he said this and he said this. He said he's going to bring more troops into Afghanistan. And they were like, no, he's not going to do that. Everybody was able to assume that Obama was speaking in code and that he actually stood for exactly what they wanted him to stand for. And that's something that Kamala Harris is trying to do. But I don't think it's going to be effective because we've all seen this already. And we were lied to by Obama. Everyone thought he was going to be anti-war, even though he said he was going to go into Afghanistan. And we just got out of Afghanistan. And now no women in Afghanistan can speak in public or get an education. And we lost 13 guys trying to get out of there. And the Taliban had a military parade with all our equipment.
It's Obama was the reverse dog whistle. He would say something, excuse me, and the war thing's a great point because Obama had talked about pulling out of Iraq, but surging in Afghanistan, and that's what he ended up doing. But it was all code. He would say something, and then people would say, no, he's just saying that. He's actually wink, wink, And then with Donald Trump, Trump's like, I want civil rights for everybody. Yeah, but he doesn't mean that. He's actually saying what we want. These people live in some kind of it's like they're wearing drunk goggles, the beer goggles that make everything look warped and twisted. It doesn't matter what Trump says. It doesn't matter what Kamala says. When they look at Kamala, rose-colored glasses might be a nicer way to put it. Kamala just smiles at the camera and says, I'm going to help you. And Trump's going,
Well, those are different glasses. Those are the glasses.
There was a moment last night that David Muir asked her, Madam Vice President, you once believed this on fracking, you now say the opposite. You once believed this on the EV mandates, on universal health care, you do the opposite. And she said, I'm going to get to all three of those. But let me talk about violence against women. And she went on for 5 minutes for violence against women. And then they were like, Mr. Trump. Trump should have been like, oh, what the hell was that? Like, is she going to answer the question? Like, she just completely dismissed it. And she knew she was going to dismiss it.
Yeah,
They
she
knew
started
she was
talking
gonna
about
dismiss
that
it.
one high school friend who apparently got raped or whatever.
Which was a tragic story. But that's where President Trump should have said, I'm sorry, she didn't answer the question on fracking.
There were a couple times like that.
Why did you not answer the question on fracking?
Right. When he was asked about, do you want Ukraine to win the war? Which, by the way, I just think that question is kind of gross. This was a misstep with the CNN town hall. They tried to push him on this, and he said, which he basically said again last night, I don't want people to die. I think we should stop the loss of human life. And they followed up with, I'm going to repeat the question, do you want Ukraine to win the war? He said the same thing. They turned to Kamala Harris, and whenever they ask her a question that she avoids, there's no follow-up. There's no pushback.
I'd have just said, define winning the war, because that's an important distinction. Go. Yeah. And then when they're like, what are they going to say?
I don't know.
Do you want Ukraine to restore all of its borders to its original state before the Russian invasion? To which my response would then be, I don't know if I would prioritize the borders of the country over the dead people. So long as people are dying, priority number one is end the loss of life. We can talk about borders after the fact.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been like, winning is for sports. We're talking about people dying. I think you're losing perspective on how critical this crisis is.
Did anyone notice when they were talking about Ukraine and Kamala's passion about the internationally recognized sovereignty of a nation's border? And I thought, is anyone going to mention
Does
that?
she know about ours?
And that was a missed one. I love you, Mr. President, but that's where I was hoping he'd be like, I'm sorry.
I think
Did you just talk about sovereign
You made a really good
borders?
point, and I had forgotten that we used to have debates that were about specific issues, and that was a big deal. But this time around, the Biden-Trump debate was on all topics because they knew they weren't going to get another one.
Yeah.
And then this one's the only
this
scheduled
one is the only scheduled one, so they had to try and hit everything. And I don't think it's fair to voters to try and do that, so that you have to try and get millions of different policy positions in one spot. And I also don't think that it's fair to candidates, because what you had were the moderators going up there saying, Mr. Trump, why are you just absolutely the worst guy in the history? And he's going, I'm really not that bad. And then the question to Kamala is, why, what's your response to him saying he's not that bad?
I don't know what this is from, but there's a cartoon someone posted a day before the debate, and they said, is this how the debate's going to go? And it's a frog and a disgusting looking guy. And then the debate moderator goes, Mr. Frog, why are you so evil? You have 1 second. And he goes, hello. And they go, out of time, and you're wrong. And Mr. President, why are you so awesome? You have all the time you need. So that's basically how it ended up going down.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.